That's what celebrating somebody is they feel seen, right? Whatever that looks like for them, because everybody wants to feel seen, at your workplace, at your home, in your marriage, in your community, you want to be seen. Right. And nobody's going to do it perfect all the time, but in your own household, how can we better help each other so that when we do go out and maybe aren't seen in the other aspects of life, you can handle it because you're seen in your own household. Hello, everyone. We are Greg and Jacquie Francis, and welcome to High Performance Parenting, where our passionate goal is to encourage you to raise champion children in a crazy world. Every week, we will bring you multiple episodes from our extensive experience of raising our six happy, healthy, successful, godly kids who are confidently equipped to win big in life.
We deeply believe that any parent who is provided with the right knowledge and continual support can raise amazing kids. And when they do, all of our futures get better. If raising up future generations of absolute champions matters to you as much as it does to us, here's how you can contribute. Like and share this podcast with everyone you know. And together, let's embrace this journey of raising champion kids in a crazy world. All right, everybody, welcome back. Got Fun Country Jacquie here with me in studio.
I can teach you a few things.
We're going to continue this conversation. We just went through some personality stuff, but now let's talk about the whole concept of knowing how to celebrate your kids, because the reality is it isn't just that we celebrate them, it's knowing how they like to be celebrated. That's probably equal or even more important, right? And so it's it's a really good topic. I started to explain how one of our friends actually does this in an interview process with their employees, and how they ask them on the front end, when we do celebrate you for doing a good job, how do you like to be celebrated? And sometimes people were even just like, well, what do you mean? Like, you mean like for like a birthday or something? And like, no, just like for doing well. How do you like to do? And it's just such a thing that most people don't do. Most people don't pay attention to. Most places they lead by an iron fist. It's like a do good or else. So how you're going to get noticed is if you're doing something wrong and you're going to get reprimanded. But it isn't going to be necessarily where if you're doing something right, it's going to get celebrated. And so we've learned over time that people will do what you edify way more than what you teach. And so you got to really build in time for edification and recognition. And, of course, we do that in our team meetings, which we've discussed before. But going to a different level and asking each of the kids individually, how do you actually like being celebrated? And it kind of sparked a good conversation because you and I started talking about it, and you were asking me and I was asking you. So how is it for you? How do you like to be celebrated?
Everything.
Okay.
Everything in every way. No.
Wow.
I know. Well, you know what though? Let's back up. Like everybody, let's talk about some of the different examples to be celebrated. Do you know what I mean? Like
Sure.
some people like to be celebrated with a physical gift given to them. Mm-hmm. When they do a good job with something, you hand them a gift of sort so that they can feel, celebrated. So that's one thing. Another person, maybe their idea of maybe being celebrated could be maybe public recognition of some sort. Or in front of a group of people they admire, right? Another way to celebrate somebody could be what? What do you like?
Well, I mean, the public recognition thing is good, where you actually somebody brags on you, but in front of other people. And then there's some people who are like, I don't like that at all. Mm-hmm. Actually, it makes me super hyper uncomfortable. But if you'd like to just pull me to the side and let me know individually, that would mean a lot to me, or maybe it's I think you mentioned handwritten note. It's one thing to give a card. It's another thing to take the time when someone actually hand writes some stuff out. I've had a lot of people do that for me with things in the past, and you can tell if someone's never been trained in this, that they usually try to do for you what they probably would like the most, because it just makes sense to them. For us, some people like gifts. Some people like some kind of a gift. It could be whatever.
I like that bright, sparkly.
It
shiny,
could be jewelry.
Yeah.
Could be purses. Could be shoes. Could
all
be
the above. Like I said.
Yeah. All the above.
And I think what was interesting is I just came off Mother's Day, right? Mm-hmm. And all the kids took time to do a card for me. Okay.
Yeah.
But I could tell from the different cards, like, there are different ways they wanted to celebrate me. Okay. So like Juice made me a card. He hand wrote it out, and it was a very simple to the direct point of how much he loves me. Okay. And he forgot to sign his name. And so it just goes to show a little like,
He was too busy having fun.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then, Chrissy did me a card, and I mean, she went to a high level,
Drew all these beautiful pictures
and
on
like,
it and colored it all in.
and then it like rhymed and all this stuff.
Yeah, she wrote like a poem about it. Yeah.
Abby, same thing. She really like put together a masterpiece. Hunter made me a card, and it was all pictures of herself. Not one of me and her in there. Not one picture of Mom. 3 pictures of herself. I even tried to ask, is one of these me? No, that's mine. I said, makes sense.
Oh, yeah.
Bella's was really sweet and heartfelt, just written out. You know what I mean? Not overly creative. And then Ellie's was really impressive because that little girl's been working really hard on her handwriting and her spelling. And you could tell she took the time to really show.
She want to impress you with it.
Yeah. So even seeing how different people do those kind of things kind of explains some of their gifts.
Sure.
Right. And so anyways, we were just thinking about that with each other. And one of the things Greg said to me, I said, how do you like to be? And he said, words. I like words. I go, oh, so if I wrote you out a card and said all the things, he's like, actually, no. I'd see that more as a gift. Like a card would be in a gift form.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Do you want to explain from you?
Yeah, no, it is true. Like I mean, I'm not a big gifts guy, and not that I don't appreciate when people do nice things, but it isn't like a love tank filler for me. And so if you took the time to write out a card and stuff, I wouldn't be the type that would be like, oh my gosh, this is so awesome. Let me leave it over here so I can reread it whenever I need a little pick me up. I wouldn't do that. I would probably honestly put it in a drawer somewhere, almost feel guilty if I threw it away, because I wouldn't want to hurt your feelings if you did that. You know what I mean? But I probably wouldn't really reference it again. Not that it wasn't nice. It's just, but if you did other things where, say we're in some kind of a leadership meeting or something, and you took the time to actually recognize things that, would mean a lot to be recognized for in front of other people that I care about, like that would actually make me feel appreciated. That would make me feel celebrated. Yeah.
And that can go even in the household.
Yeah.
Like in front of our children. You know what I mean? Like when we do.
I was just thinking about our conversation. We were talking about this on the way here, and I started asking you, how do you like to be celebrated? And then you started telling me about all the things you want to be celebrated for. After about 10, 15 minutes, I was like, honey, I think I know what you want to be celebrated, but how? You were just going. like
Did you take notes?
That's what you were looking at me like. Like, I know you're driving through the mountains and it's curvy and everything, but you need to free up a hand right now to start taking
I thought you were going to record me. So that you could re-listen to the passion in my voice on how I want to be seen.
Yeah. Well, we're together so much, like you said. Maybe I could just ask
so
you
many
again.
more opportunities now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure. So anyways, so how do you like being celebrated?
How do I like to be celebrated? I think, these all kind of mesh together, all these personality stuff. You know what I mean? Like right now in this season, I feel like it's acts of service, right? I do a lot for others. And so when some people help me out, I feel celebrated because they take stuff off me. But then also recognizing everything that I do, even that is not the glamorous stuff all the time or the things that people see all the time. It's like I was kind of explaining, I think for me personally, there's a lot that I juggle within the household that I make it appear like it's very easy and no big deal and simple. But in any given day, the idea of me being able to do what I want really on the day can change quickly in our household, from what a kid's need to your need to a dog need to business needs, you name it, it's coming at me. And so sometimes I don't think people see that I do that all and therefore recognize me for giving up maybe my whole day on numerous days a week to make those things happen.
Right.
And after a while, it gets exhausting.
Yeah. So it's almost that you want, you just want us all to acknowledge and notice all of the extra sacrifices that you do instead of just kind of expecting or assuming it or feeling entitled to it. Right.
Right. Because I make it seem like, because I would never make anyone feel guilty. Like,
sure. And you're not doing it for recognition, but but it would make you feel celebrated if you were recognized for it.
And then you were like, well, how to celebrate? And I said, and you're like, is it, a gift? Is it words?
Is it like, do we just make sure that there's a little more recognition for some of these things? Me as the, as your husband and as, the kid's dad, making sure that I'm not forgetting to remind everybody that let's point out some things that mom does that we kind of overlook. Like even probably doing that at least once a month, I think would matter. And then I also suggested that, because of everything you do, maybe having at least a morning or an afternoon a month where it's like a mom has no responsibility day, or whatever we want to call it, where they,
like a mom refreshing day or something.
Yeah. You can go out there and do what you feel like doing just for you without worrying about everybody else, infringing on what you're trying to do for you.
Yeah. And so what does that look like? I don't know. Maybe that's, going in a spa treatment. Maybe that's as simple as taking a long workout. Maybe it's something as easy as, going for a drive and stopping in and journaling and doing my own thing for a couple of hours, but not feeling this guilt that I have to take somebody with me. Because the majority of the time, people like to be with me all the time, which is super loving. I mean, like what mother doesn't want their children to want to be with them, right? Yeah. But what happens sometimes, and you had a good discussion with Hunter, I think it was a week or two ago, I don't know. I wanted to go somewhere and not take her. And you remember she started crying. Mm-hmm. And you were like, hey, Hunter, let's talk about this. And she's 5, so it's not like, she understands everything. And you had a little discussion with her about it, didn't you?
I did. And, I think I've had to do this with every kid because, the reality is because you are such a giver all the time. And that when you're running and doing stuff, you usually are pretty open to having a kid run an errand with you or just come and sharing the experience with you. And, that's a lot of time when you're also having the conversations with them and just you're, we're busy people and that's how you kind of fold time a little bit. You kind of do multiple things at once. So then they all get used to it. Right. And then eventually they almost become a little entitled to it, which especially when you're 5. And so then it was starting to be where you had to, you had to just try to explain that you can't come this time. And then she would start giving you a guilt trip about it because she's just thinking about her. Mm-hmm. And so that's when I had to go in there and have a little conversation with her. It wasn't really a strong, harsh correction or anything, but it's just a matter of perspective. Like, Hunter, listen, let me remind you of all the things mom does with you, what she does for you. Let me remind you of all the cool little sacrifices she makes that I really want you to be appreciative of. I want you to be super thankful for them. I want you to tell her more often how appreciative you are. And I also want you, if she needs to go do something and she says you can't come, I want you to be thankful that next time you'll be able to come and not make her feel guilty about not bringing you, because sometimes mom has to go do some stuff without you. And she got it. Yeah. And it might have to do it again at some point.
Well, she'll forget it at some point a little bit.
Yeah.
So she needs to be reminded. But all that to say that it's like that's the important part of making sure you're working as a team in your household, because to celebrate people is so important, and to help each other out so that each member is seen. That's what celebrating somebody is they feel seen, right? Whatever that looks like for them is making sure they feel seen, because everybody wants to feel seen, at your workplace, at your home, in your friendship groups, in your marriage, in your, community, you want to be seen. Right. And nobody's going to do it perfect all the time. But in your own household, how can we better help each other so that when we do go out and maybe aren't seen in the other aspects of life, like you can handle it because you're seen in your own household.
That's right. Yeah, it's really, really important. And, when you really look at statistics within companies that perform well, it's usually the places where people are celebrated the most. They have like the most longevity of people lasting. They have people performing and really, explain how their workplace is like the place they really enjoy, and it's because of this stuff. Because, but when you don't ever get it, like you also hear the stats the other way. I mean, most people, it's like, what would you rather have? Would you rather have a pay increase, or would you rather have some recognition? And 9 times out of 10, it's recognition, because they're just not seen like you're describing. So it's a big deal. I think we should have the kids jump on and we can ask them directly how they like to be celebrated. That would be pretty fun.
All right.
So. Hey everyone, thanks for listening and thanks for your love and support. We hope that today's episode added tremendous value to you and your family. It would mean so much to us if you would partner with us on our mission of helping parents around the globe raise champion children in this crazy world.
To do so, simply take a moment to like and share this podcast with everyone in your network. See you next time.